Okay. Bear with me. Let me just make sure everything looks good. All right. So I am continuing from where I left off Friday. Um, so, all right. So Friday, we were learning about the different functions in standard math modules and all the different functions we can use within when importing math. So, like, let's see if we can see an example here. Here we go. Import math, math dot power, and then here are um, the inputs or the input it's taking or the data it's taking in, math square root, data it's taking in, and then we kind of continued from there and did a little bit more practice. Just bear with me one sec here. Um, so here, I already went through a few things here, so we can see that it gives us an example of distance in the formula. So we would say square root. Okay, so square root, math dot square root. So if you don't put math dot square root or SQRT, um, along with the imported math or import math, it is not going to work. So math dot square root, and then we put in how it shows here. So x2 minus x1 to the power of 2. So in parentheses, so x2 minus x1, and then if you remember, two asterisks next to each other means to the power of. So to the power of 2 plus parentheses y2 minus y1 to the power of 2. Same thing here, which gave us our answers. Same thing with this one. If I jump back here, we'll see we can do um, we'll do let me go up here. We'll do val is assigned math dot square root, and that'll be h I as the data being passed through it, and then val will be printed here. Let's make sure we did it correctly. Actually, I just thought of this. I need to do times I is what I need to do. So that passes. So we'll do the next level. So I can see here that the x is the variable, x is assigned to. Now these pipes, the variable, so v minus w, these pipes say basically find the absolute value or the absolute value. So we're also, and so for Python, the way we write absolute value is with fabs. So fabs is to find the absolute value. So that's what we'll do. We'll say x is assigned math.fabs. It'll be v minus w, and then outside of the parenthesis, outside of fabs's parentheses, we're going to do to the power of 3. Let's run it and see if we did it correctly. Yes, indeed. Excuse me. All right. Uh, here, let's see. Answer is assigned. It looks like math dot fabs or absolute value. That's what ABS stands for, absolute value. Let's see. So we have W in there, and then outside of it, we have to the power of math dot fabs x. Let's see if we did that correct. Did I put an N for some reason right there? I don't know how I did that. Let's try that again. Okay, perfect. All right, so now, oh, this is interesting. Is there any notation on that? So factorial, maybe? Because I see this, and that is taking the input here just like this. So let's use factorial. How do you write that? Whoops. Fact, factorial, not factorial, factorial. So let's give that a shot here. Answer is assigned to, I'm going to say math dot factorial. And of course, if we get it wrong, we're going to learn from that and we're going to fix it and then, learn how this works. So I'm going to put it as I exclamation because that's how the intake, the data is being put in here. So 3 exclamation. I forget what that's called, but I'm going to call it exclamation for now. So factorial is taking in 3 exclamation equals 3 times 2 times 1. So that's how I'm going to write it since it shows like that. So 1 exclamation divided by j exclamation. And let's see if that's how we're supposed to do it. I'm home alone and I'm hearing shit. Spooky. Let's check. Did I spell it right? Factorial? Yeah. Okay. So these are wrong. Invalid syntax. So the exclamation mark. So let's see what it says here. So math.factorial is used to compute the values of I factorial and j factorial. Then math factorial is divided by factorial j. Oh, so it does it individually. Math.factorial is divided by math. Oh, interesting that it's okay. That's interesting. Okay, so that's an invalid syntax right there, which tells us right here that the exclamation is invalid. So we're just going to pass the argument I, and then we're going to say divided by math dot factorial j instead of the exclamation mark. Let's see how that does. Yeah. All right. So we completed that. So let's keep going. Okay, so now that we've reached the end here, let's see where we're at. Oh, it's up here, 3.9. Okay, so well, I guess I could have been able to tell by reading this. So we are here, random numbers, and then into text, addition, practice. Okay, So since we're already close to the labs, I think I want to go through a practice test again. um, let's. Do I want to do practice test 1 or practice test 2? Does it matter? Well, this is practice lab, and then this is practice. So, and then this just says lab formatted output, no parking. So this is looks like this is kind of testing us from everything we've learned. Smallest number, exact change, output range, increment, print string, reverse. Ooh, reverse. That will probably be this right here where we learn it. So maybe we should go through as much of the practice as we can, maybe? I'm curious what it shows us if I click print. I don't know if you can. Oh no, you can't see it. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna look at this real quick. Uh, oh, interesting. It just kind of shows the different questions it goes through and things like that. Yeah, yeah. It looks like okay. Okay. All right, where are we here? Well, let me think on it in a second. I need to get some water, so bear with me 1 sec here. Okay. Let's just run through this practice test. Um, Actually, I've never done practice test 2, so although I am nervous doing that one. Let's do it anyway. Create a Python solution for the following task. Ensure the solution produces output in exactly the same format. To test your program, first click run. If your program requires none, be sure to enter blah, blah, blah. Okay. Create a solution that accepts 3 integers inputs representing the number of times an employee travels to a job site in a month. Oh, this was actually, damn, this is the one that I freaking got stuck on a few days ago. From my first video, you'll see how I got stuck on this stupid one. And I still am dumb on this one. Let's reread it. Create a solution that accepts 3 integer inputs representing the number of times an employee travels to a job site in a month. So like employee A, enter in the number of days employee A travels to a job. output the total distance traveled to 2 decimal places according to the miles each employee commutes to the job site. Employee A, 15.62 miles. Hold on one second, sorry. Okay, employee A, 15.62 miles. Employee B, 41.85 miles. Employee C, 32.67 miles. So that's how many miles they traveled, right? The solution output should be in the format of total miles traveled miles. Total miles traveled. It's gonna be another one of those freaking yawning days. So let's start here. Music is a little too loud. And I'm gonna change it to this here. Okay. So there's a few different ways to do this. Um, we could always do like, because we know the employee A's their distance. So I'll put the total distance traveled. So this is how far they travel. So we could always do like, like travel. And I think it's like this. And then you would, do like employee A equal, employee A, yeah. And then, put them in like this, but we're going to do it the way we've been learning. So this way it doesn't confuse. All right. So the issue I was having last time was that I kept getting confused on how to do the math, not how to, how to do the math, like how to calculate uh, the total distance. So like this is saying that if the input is 3, 10, 5, so they traveled, how many times did they travel, right? So in a month. So we know that employee A is 15.62. So the input was 3. So that would be 3 times 15.62, right? So that is 46. Oh, plus 10 times 41.85 plus 5 times 32.67 equals. So that is incorrect. How do I do this? So the issue I was running into last time is I had to figure out how they were doing the math in order to like be able to translate that into here, right? Because if I don't, then I don't know whether to use times, multiplication, or not. So that's what I'm doing right now is like 3 times 15.62, or is it the other one? I mean, 15.62, 15.62 times 3, so 46.86, and then 41.85 times the second input, which is 10. That would be 14.50, and then 32.67 times 5, which is the input, 163.35. So now we add those together, right? I think. So we'll find out. 418.50 plus 163.35 plus 46.86. That's 628.71. Okay, so that's what they're doing. So they're just you're dividing the mileage that they travel times how many days they did it. So calculate total distance. So can we do, maybe we can do the input, like let's say they say 5 days times, and then hard code in the miles, right? 0.62, and then hard code times 41.85, and hard code in 32.67, right? Now, yeah, no, that's good, that's good. Okay, so now, right, because it would be input times their mileage, input times mileage, and then we add that. So we would add them all together. So we would say, let's do uh, total miles traveled. Total miles traveled is, yeah, it's basically employee A plus employee B plus employee C, right? So then print since we're not going to do the math here in print and we've just created a variable for it, I'm going to put everything within an F string. And I'm going to say distance, distance is total miles traveled. And then it says we need to put miles at the end there. This looks good. Okay. Did it say to the, oh, it said to the 2 decimal places. So 0.2f. So if you saw my other videos, you'd see and remember that adding this after the variable, so like total miles traveled, I want 2 digits to show after the decimal point, like here. So we do that by adding colon, period, 2f, okay? And we have to put that within the curly brackets with that variable. And then I don't know if you remember, but this is the f string. This allows us to output all of this as a string. And we don't have to do any math in here. If we had to do math in here, and let's say I did like employee A plus B plus C, like all in here, then I would not use the f string. But let's do this and let's run it and see how it looks. So we would say, let's test it with what they input here. So 3, 10, and 5. So distance, 628.71 miles. Perfect. So since we got that right and everything else looks good in the code, we are going to submit for grading. Okay, looks good there. Oh, okay, total score 5 out of 5. So I passed the whole thing. Awesome. So it did several checks. Everything came out perfect with the 2 digits. Bear with me 1 second before we do this lab 2 part. Give me un momento. Momento, por favor. Voy a hacer algo. here. Come on, seriously? Hold on, it's giving me a hard time. There we go. Un momento, por favor. Estoy haciendo algo. Necesito hacer esto. Let's see. There we go. Okay, do that, do that. Bear with me 1 second. Should be done shortly. Sorry. I should have done this before so I don't waste time, but I didn't, so I'm doing it now. Sorry. I know nobody's on here anyway, but if you're watching the recording, you can fast forward. I am almost done here. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Mm, okay. Perfect. All right. Create a solution that accepts an integer input representing any number of ounces. Output the converted. Yeah, this is the exact. Oh man, this is the exact one I had an issue with last time. Okay. So this is the one that I kept having issues with last time, and it's also on the test. So let's see if we can go through this, and let's see if I can figure it out again. So create a solution that accepts an integer input representing any number of ounces. So here's the input for that number of any number of ounces. Output the converted total number of tons, pounds, and remaining ounces based on the value of the input ounces. There are 16 ounces in a pound, and 2,000 pounds in a ton. The solution output should be in the format. Okay, so if the input is 32,500. So so we need to know how to do the math first of all. How is the math being done? So like if somebody put in 32,500 ounces, do I divide that by 2,000? 1, 2, 3. And I get 161. I mean, that's not pounds because that's not the answer there. This is the exact issue I kept having in a ton. So I think I'll have to look up the formula on how to figure it out. Let's see if I can figure out the formula. Let's see if I can figure out. Okay, so this says that so 1 pound is 16 ounces, which this tells us here there's 16 ounces in a pound, 2,000 pounds in a ton, and 32,000 ounces in a ton. So 32,000 ounces in a ton. So 2,000 times 16. Hold on. So it's saying in order to find the ton, we need to take the ounces and divide it by 3,200 because 3,200 is what equals a ton. 3,200 ounces or 32,000 ounces equals a pound. So it's saying we need to do 32,500 remaining ounces is 32,500 minus. This is how it put the formula for finding out the ounces after the tons, and it's 1 times 3,200, and then that will equal the 500 ounces, right? And then this will equal the ton, and this one is 1 ton. And then we need to find the pounds. So divide the remaining ounces by the number of ounces in 1 pound. So the remaining ounces, you need to take 500 ounces divided by 16, right? So ounces, this is ounces as well. This is the ounces in taken, right? 3,200 is in a pound, right? And then this is a ton, okay? 500 ounces. No, yeah, divided by 16 will equal 31 pounds. Remaining ounces after pounds. Divide the remaining ounces by the number of ounces in a pound, 31 pounds. Remaining ounces after pounds. Okay. And then, so the same remaining ounces minus 31 pounds, pounds times 16, which would equal 500 minus 496 equals 4 ounces. So this part doesn't make sense to me. So what does that mean? Does that mean we do 31 times 16, which is 496? Oh, okay. So 496. So so 31 times 16 is 496. So we need to do, and then we need to do 500 minus 496. Whoops. Minus 496, which equals the 4 ounces. So this is kind of telling us here how to find it all. So, oops. So based on that, we can do, so it takes the input, right? So the ton, for ton, we want to do the ounces divided by 3,200, right? And then to figure out let's do, right, in a pound, that's 1 ton. So we can get a ton from that. But then we need to find the remaining ounces. So we're going to name it remaining ounces. We'll do uh, ounces minus ton times 3,200, because 32,000, sorry, I keep saying 3,200, because 32,000 is what's in a ton. So then we take that, and we'll say, so that will give us the remaining ounces. So now we'll do pounds, and we'll take the remaining ounces, right? And divide that by 16, because there's 16 ounces in a pound. And then from there, we'll need to do the remaining ounce. So the remaining ounces. So we'll do remaining ounces again minus, oops, nope, yep, that was, hold on. That's how we get the pounds. Sorry. So the ton, the pounds, and then I'm going to say total ounces. Total ounces is remaining ounces minus the pounds times 16. And then once it does that, right? No, yeah. Okay, so we want it to do that. Okay. So then it says, I wonder if I could do this print on one line. If I use an F string, I have a feeling though I have to go like this. I'll have to say tons and then ton. And then like that. And then pounds, right? Pounds. Next line, which would be the total ounces. Whoops. Which would be total ounces. Right? Yeah. Yeah, there'll be total ounces. All right, let's run it and test it and see what happens. If I get any errors, I'll fix it along the way. I'm going to input the same number. Oh, okay. So, okay. Did I do, wait, what? Invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma? Remaining ounces. Pounds times 16. Where am I seeing that? Okay, that's right here. Here, let's separate them. So it's saying right here, pounds. Oh, my bad. There we go. Because you can't do x as multiplication. It has to be the asterisk. So 32,500. Let's see if we get the same output. No. Well, yeah. One. Actually, no, because pounds is not correct. So pounds, we do the ton is ounces divided by 3,200, right? So the input divided by 3,200, that gets us 1 ton, which came out correct, sort of, because it's a float. And then from there, you need to take, no, that's why. Okay, so I still need to take the, oh, no, right here. Okay. So I take the ounces minus the ton, what if we make this, can I make this into an integer? Oh, you know what? Instead of making that into the integer, we're going to make, well, the input is integer already, but this is not. So can I do, um, can I do int like this? Let's see if that helps it any. 32,500. So yeah, so that does. So that's what the issue is. So I need to make it into an integer. So I think that I need to, the ounces is already converted into an integer. So I think I need to do that for this one as well, right? And then same thing with this one and this one. Okay. So we encapsulate those. So tons, oh, um, ounces. Ounces is that. So let's try it again. 32,500. 1 ton, 31 pounds, 4 ounces. Okay, so that works. So to recap, um, in order to find out the ton, the pounds, you need, so for the ton, you need to take the input of the ounces and divide it by 3,200, which is, there are 32, I keep saying 3,200, 32,000. So there are 32,000 ounces in a pound, right? I'm sorry, in a ton. So the number you input divided by 32,000, that gets us our ton. And then in order to find the remaining ounces, we need to take the ounces that were input, so 32,500 minus the 32, the ton, the ton that it said here times 3,200, 32,000. And then to find the pounds, we need to take the remaining of the ounces divided by 16, because there are 16 ounces in the pound. Excuse me. That must be very annoying, and I apologize. Um, and then the total ounces is the remaining ounces minus the pounds times 16. This one's going to be important to understand how it's working because um, this one is on the test and it's going to be a little tough because as you can see, I struggled with it. I had to look it up. Um, but yeah, so remaining ounces. Let's submit it for grading and move on. 5 out of 5. So it took in the different inputs, outputted it correctly. Perfect. And we didn't need to make any of them afloat. Create a solution that accepts an integer input representing the index value for any of the 7 elements in the following list. Create a solution that accepts an integer input representing the index value for any of the 7 elements in the following list. So the solution should perform the following: retrieve the element in the given index, determine the data type using the type function and its dot name attribute, check if the element belongs to one of the following categories. If the element is iterable, example, list, string, um, what does that mean? I forget what that means. Output, this element is iterable. If the element is numeric, integer or float, output, the element is numeric. For other data types, in these categories, output is a different data type. The solution should be in the format element value type, data type, message. Okay, so basically enter index 3, then the expected output is apple, banana, coconut, because if we go from 0, 1 to 3, we can see that the array is here, and that's what it's printing out, is that array. Type, it's a list. Message, this element is iterable. So index. So we need to retrieve the element at the given index, right? Which means that we can do element is assigned to the is assigned index. No, how is that captured? Oh, that's what it is. It's I have it backwards. It's actually data mixture index, right? So retrieve the element at the given index. So this is how we retrieve it. So the element will be assigned whatever one. So if they say 2, 0, 1, 2, it'll be assigned the float of 5.67. And what we could probably do is we could do type is assigned type index, right? Actually, we learned earlier that you don't want to make it close to the same. So we're going to do it as like for example, there's already a reserved word called type, right? Type, and then it tells us the data type. So we want to avoid having a name that's close to that to avoid confusion. So what I'll do is I'll actually name it element type, like that, to avoid any confusion. So it says that determine the data type using the type function and its .name attribute. Oh, I put this in brackets. It actually needs to be parentheses. I'll be honest, I am not too sure how to use the name. So I'm going to do .name and hope for the best on that one. I don't think that's how it works though. I'm gonna Google it real quick. Bear with me one sec here. So it looks like we need to do, yeah, underscore name underscore underscore. And then we'll close it in parentheses or do a close parentheses like that. Because I think it has to go. Actually, can we do it without that? You know what? I'm gonna test it. So print uh, element type. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so index, invalid syntax. Why is that? Oh, that's why. Input. Okay. List indicates must be integer or slices, not string. So we have to. So do we need to convert it into an integer? So does that mean we need to do like this? Or am I doing it backwards and need to do this? Like that. Okay, so this attribute here, the dot name attribute, uh, does this here. If we didn't have that name attribute, it would actually look like this. It'll say class int like that, but that's what we're trying to remove. So I'm going to do the name attribute at the end there. What was next? Check if the element belongs to one of the following categories. Uh, so is it saying if if how do you do it? So if index, no, if the element is iterable, example list string or days output or something. So how do we check if it is or not? If index is equal to list string oh, I think that stands for dictionary, but I'm not sure. Print this element is iterable. This element is iterable. But I want to test it. Okay. So invalid syntax. So there's something I'm doing wrong here, and I'm not sure how you do it. So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to research it. And what we need to find out is check to see if the element belongs to one of the following categories, if the element is iterable. So I just need because I think there's a function that you use. And so is the function, Is a function is iterable? So can I do is iterable uh, index or no? Uh, yeah, data mixture. No, um, element, right? Element. Can that be used? Expected. Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, name is iterable is not defined, so it's not a function. Oh, but this says that in order to use that, I need to do from collections ABC import iterable. Oops. Okay, we won't be able to do that then, unless we can do it that way. No. I actually don't know how to do that. See, this is why I don't like doing the tests until I've gone through the whole thing. This one is a little bit tougher. So, I mean, it doesn't look like anybody's watching me anyway, so I think I'm gonna head over to where we left off. But if you are watching and I just don't see you, let me know if you want me to continue. Because I can continue. I would just go back and forth with, okay, look, like researching, okay, how do I find this? Or, okay, how do I find that? So if you are watching, I'll give you a few seconds to let me know if you want me to continue or go ahead and just go back to continuing on learning the path. So I'll give you a second here while I look this up. Okay, so it doesn't look like anybody's watching, so I'm just going to go back. So it says that we can use is instance, and then we would do element, and that would be list string dictionary. List string dictionary, right? Else if is instance element, right? Uh, int float, um, print this element is numeric, uh, this element is numeric, else if uh, this is a different data type, else if or is it else? Else print this is a different data type. Yeah, this is a different data type. Let's see if that works. Because I'm not too sure if I use the functions correctly. This element is numeric. Okay. So now let's see if we can, this may have worked. So we could do an F string here and say element is element and then type is curly brackets element type, and then we want message, this element is numeric. And then same thing with here. So we'll put this in an F string and we'll say element and then we want type the element type. Actually, I'm going to not space these because I think it's going to automatically add a space, isn't it? I think it automatically adds a space, but we'll see. Okay. And then after that, we want message is numeric. Otherwise, this is a different data type. So let's do 0. Element, Python is fun. Wait, what? Element, oh, okay. I was thinking I wrote Python is fun, so that's funny. Okay, so we do want a space here after each comma. Okay, let's try it again. And we'll do 0, 1. We'll do 1. Element 2024, type integer, message, this element is numeric. And we'll do it one more time, and I want to do 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3, right, like it did here. Apple, banana, coconut, and then type list. Oh, no, this says type int. Why does it say int? Do we need to change this into message? This element is iterable. I got that part right, but why does it say it's an int? Do we need to convert it back into a string? Maybe? Let's try that. Let's try number 3. Let's try 3 again. String object has no attribution name. Did you mean me? Maybe I need to put this back here and try that. See, it still says int. It should say list. Why is that? So I'm going to take away the string. Do I maybe need to... Why is it saying integer? Do I need to bring it, maybe do it a string at this level when it prints out, maybe? Let's try this. String int. No, that's not right either. Why? 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 Type index. I want it to be... Why is it doing that? Because it's not an integer. It's a list. I think I need a little bit of help on this part. I'm going to take this whole thing. All right, let's see, because when I look at this and I try and figure out why, when I put the string, or when I convert it back into a string here, hold on, I think I heard something outside. Checking my camera right now because I hear somebody outside right now. Oh, okay, so it looks like somebody dropped off a package. Okay. When I convert it into a string, it doesn't, it still says integer. So what about my code? Why is it doing that? So okay, so I know the mistake is here, but why though? What am I missing? Oh, because I'm telling it to, I'm asking it what the type is of the index, which if I put in a 3, it's going to be an integer. I want it to tell me what the element is, not the index. So then that should actually, yeah, okay, so that's why. Because I was saying, hey, what number are they inputting and what type is it? When really it should be, hey, after I get the element, tell me what that element type is. That's what it was. So, and let's make sure if I test it with the number 1, so 20 int message, this element is numeric. So let's submit that and see. Okay, perfect. So came out the same way, 5 out of 5. Okay, perfect. So we'll, I guess. Okay, so create a solution that accepts any 3 integer inputs representing the base and height measurements of a trapezoid in meters. Output the exact area of the trapezoid in square meters as a float. The exact area of the trapezoid can be calculated by summing the 2 bases, multiplying the sum by the height, and then divided by 2. See, I like that it gives me a formula because it makes it a little bit easier and I don't have to figure out how to do the formula. You know, trying to guess what the formula is. So the solution output should be the input in the format. So trapezoid area, area value, square meters. Okay. So sample input and output. If the inputs are 3, 4, and 5, trapezoid area 17.5 square meters. So it's basically taking base 1 plus base 2 and then timesing that by the height, finally dividing it by 2, which gives us our output of 17.5. Now it looks like it wants us to do a float, but it doesn't specify decimal places, so we'll just do a regular float instead of and not do like the decimal places with the with that 0.2f like I was showing you before. So it looks like it takes in base 1, base 2, and height. Okay, so area is assigned. Okay, so we are going to take uh, we are going to take uh, base 1 plus base 2 and multiply that by h, and then finally dividing by, I'm sorry, multiplying by height, dividing by 2. But I want it to do this, and then I want it to, so we're going to say, with the parentheses, we're going to say solve base 1 plus base 2 first, and then take that answer and times it by height next, and then from there take that answer and divide it by 2. So then we are going to print and say say trapezoid. Oops. Actually, I'm going to do an F string and say trapezoid area, and then in the colons we are going to do area, and I just realized that I am going to put float here like this, area, and then we need to say square meters. So trapezoid area, answer square meters. So let's take a test. Here it says 357, so we'll test it with 357. Whoop, hold on. Oh, my bad. I did not tell it what to do here. So the integer, it looks like it's only taking in integers, right? And not floats. And it doesn't specify, does it specify? Yeah, inputs. So create a solution that accepts any three integers. Okay, so we do want to input them as integers. So int input, right? And input int. Now I could copy and paste, but as I've mentioned before, it's always best to just fully type it every time because then you start, I think that's how I feel like that's how you learn a lot quicker and better is if you're actually typing it out yourself. So let's redo this and we're going to say 3, 5, 7. Trapezoid area 28.0 square meters. We're going to submit that for grading because I see that that came out correctly and it looks good and I do believe I did it right. Yep, I did. So 5 out of 5. All right. Create a solution that accepts 5 integers, inputs, output the sum of the 5 inputs 3 times, converting. Let me reread that. Create a solution that accepts 5 integer inputs. Output the sum of the 5 inputs 3 times, converting the inputs to the requested data type before finding the sum. First output the sum of the 5 inputs as an integer. Oh, so it just wants us to print it out. Looks like at the end it concatenates all the numbers together. So it wants us to take. Oh, so then it adds it, right? It said the sum. Yeah, the sum. So we're going to eventually say we want uh, integer type, right? Float type, and then string type, right? So we'll take all the numbers in as integers. Do we even need to take them all in as integers? Because I think we're gonna. I mean, we're gonna be. Yeah. I'm gonna input them as integer, and then we'll change the. Why does it keep doing that? Hmm. So we're gonna do the sum. You know what? I'm gonna say to make it so I don't have to type like num1 plus num2 plus num3 plus num whatever it is. I'm gonna say sum And then I'm going to put, oh, can I use sum as a, as a, as a function? Because if I could, that would be the bee's knees. Bee's knees. Numbers, some numbers. Oh, no shit. So I think I just need to do, 5 plus 1 plus 2. Let me see, 'cause that would be cool. I want to see if I can, because if I can use the sum function, which I've never done before, that would be BS NIAS. So what if I did, I'm just testing to see if I can even do it this way, the way I'm thinking of. And if I can't, then I mean, that's okay. Okay, so the way I would have to use it is like, let's say I did total, right? I would say sum instead of plus 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 plus, right? I could, and this is why I want to figure it out, because if I use cool things like this, not only am I learning, but it also makes it easier, right? So sum, I should be able to do num1, num2, 2, num3, num3, num4, num5. So I should be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from there, integer, I can say is assigned total. And then I can say float total, right? And then I can say string. Oh, that's not how you do string. String is like that. String total, right? So then I should be able to print out so we'll do an f string and say integer, because I needed it all together. This one, however, is actually going to do a string. So this I actually need to concatenate, and that's going to be num1 plus num2 plus num3 plus num4 plus. So the plus is not like mathematical plus, it's concatenation for a string, because you can concatenate a string, but I don't believe you can concatenate an integer or a float or anything like that. So, but we're going to test it here. So we're going to say integer total. Oh, sorry, I got to put that in curly brackets. Whoops. Total. And then we're going to say next line, float. And then again, we're going to do, I don't know why I put total here, because this is actually going to be integer type. float is going to be float type. And then we're going to do next line again. And then we're going to say string is the string type. Let's see if it concatenates. I am curious if I'm concatenating it correctly. And yeah, let's test it here. So 13627. Whoops, already messed something up. So unexpected indent. Indent where? Integer. So here. So index. So where did I put the extra indentation? Is it at the end? Oh, did I accidentally put it like at the end? No. Oh, where's it saying? It doesn't look like it's a. Oh, at the beginning there. You see that? See that little space there? It does not like that. So 13627. 13627. What happened? Okay, so int argument must be a string. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, because I converted it back into a string here. Oh, this function is incorrect. That's why. So I guess it doesn't matter what numbers I put. Okay, so string type gave us just the two numbers, but we want the concatenation of each one, right? So because here it gives us that example, it takes the 1, 3, 6, 7. So I thought that if I were to take that and make it a string, convert it back into a string, but concatenate it. I thought that I would be able to do that. Let's see, because, okay, let's see why I'm using concatenate incorrectly. Oh, that's interesting. So I think the way I need to do it is not with a string, but with an F string formatting. So I would actually have to do it this way. So F string, right? But I believe I need to do this, erase that, and do this. So I believe I need to put them in curly brackets like this. Yeah, like that, right? Yeah. And then one more here. So let's try that. So 5683 56843 043. Oh yeah, 4 right there. Okay. Okay, that should do it. So the way I had to concatenate it was with an F string instead of the string function, and then you put each variable into curly brackets. And I put it all on here instead of having to do that here on the printout. So let's submit it and see what happens. All right, cool, cool. And it printed out the string exactly I wanted each time. Negative numbers, nice. Okay, nice. Oh, this is the damn one. Okay, so this is the one where you have to take this any given number here, so this number, and you have to put um, dashes, right? So we will need to take the first three numbers, then the middle two numbers, and then the last four numbers. So that's going to be using like the modulus and the floor division. Excuse me. And if you remember, floor division is like this. So this is the floor division. Excuse me. And then we'll need to take the modulo. So I believe this is called a modulo. Modulo. So the floor division will keep numbers left of decimal, and modulo will keep numbers right of decimal. That's how I remember it. So let's do this number here. So it's going to take, so we want the first three numbers, right? First three numbers. We want to take the identification number, the identification number, oh man, okay, the and then we need it to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to print this as we go because I want to see what numbers it's showing me. So let's see what, so we want set a 9-digit integer, so integer, right? Sorry, I was thinking, and so we want the input. So we want to say, let's see what this gives us. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's giving us 1, 2, 3, 4, but we only need 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I moved it over 5 spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why it gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 is what I need. So I'm going to do one more a 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that gives us 1, 2, 3. So now we need, it'll probably be easier to get the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 numbers, right? So last 6 numbers. So we want to do um, identification number modulo um, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 4, 4, 5. Yeah, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, perfect. So that's what we want because 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 we want to take, let's try this. Middle two numbers, right? So can I take the last 6 floor division 1, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. That should give us the 45. So we're going to say print middle two numbers. So that should give us the 4, 5. Yes, perfect. And now that we have the the middle, we want the last 4 digits. So last 4 numbers, we want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna say last 6 modulo 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 modulo. Okay, so we're gonna say the last 4 numbers. Excuse me. Okay, perfect. So now we should be able to say the only ones we don't need are the last 6, but we need it in order to grab the middle 2 and the last 4. So now we should be able to say print f string and say um, first 3 numbers dash middle 2 numbers dash last 4. Whoops, last 4, right? Yeah. So we're going to test that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. So now we can, now that we know it works, we can get rid of these prints right here. And this one as well. So now that we know it works, let's go ahead and submit it. Yeah, boy. Nice. All right. I wish I had something that every time I got it right, it went. It had the meme that comes up. It says noise. Okay. I think, is this how many questions it gives us in like the actual test as well? Just 15 or 20, 19 maybe? I forget how many problems there are. I just know they give you like 2 hours, but I just forget how many problems there are though. Okay. Okay. Create a program that takes an integer input and determines whether it equals one of the values is defined. Create a program that takes an integer input and determines whether it equals one of the values in the predefined list. Define a function named isInList that outputs a Boolean true or false based on whether the input value is present in the defined list. The solution should produce the output of the following format: true if the input in the list, otherwise false. Is the input present in the list? Boolean value. Okay. Is the input present in the list? False. Is the input present in the list? True. So we can see here that it gives us the predefined list. Solution accepts an integer input. Solution outputs Boolean value indicating whether integer inputs is in. So define is in list, predefined list. So this is the argument. And we want to say, we want to know if the input, like 20, is it in that list? How do you um shoot, how do you, I mean, do I say if user input is equal to predefined list? Print is the input present. Do I have to say Boolean? No, that doesn't make sense, does it? Boolean is the input present in the list. No. Yeah, no. User. To me, this makes sense in my head because it would be like if the user input, and if I wanted to search this with that user's input, I would say predefined list along with the argument, right? So to me, user input, if the user input is equal to predefined list user input, so basically saying I'm going to pass this user input argument like 2, right? Oh no, because that's going to get the place. Oh man. Let's see what happens, I guess. Because I feel like define a function is in list is in list that outputs a Boolean value, true or false, based on whether the input value is present. I feel like this is wrong. I mean, is it bool? User input equal to predefined list, maybe? I'm going to get an error, but I want to know what the error is. So okay. What does it say? Oh, expected an indented block. Oh, so what is it saying? I did wrong then. 19. Come on. 18. Expected an indentation. Yeah, I'm doing this completely wrong. Because, okay, so define function to compare input with list values, right? So this, let me get rid of this. So I'm supposed to be making this function compare the input, like if you put 20 or 33, right? It's supposed to compare it to each one in the list and say, hey, and then say if name, if it's in the, if it is in that list, print true or false. But how do you get it to compare though? That's the confusing part. So define is in list, redefine list, right? Uh, damn. Let's see. What number are we on? We're on 7. So let's see. Can we comparison? Ugh. Okay. Um, okay, so here, man, I feel like I need to take a break and then come back with fresh eyes. Where did I leave off on here? I think I left off on math module, right? No, I don't. Oh wait, yeah, yeah. Okay, I did all this. Okay, random numbers. Okay, so here I left off, and I think I'm gonna just continue on. I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna end the stream and then come back. Because I don't have, yeah, I don't have like an away thing or anything. So, all right, this was a short one today, but I'm gonna try and come back. But if I don't, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. But I mean, I hope this helped a little bit with some stuff, So, but yeah, if I don't come back later today, I'll come back tomorrow. If you do watch this and you want me to go through something specific, just leave a comment, let me know, and I'll go through it with you on it. Or just just let me know what you want to do. I'm not sure if there's anybody in here right now. I'll give you a second if you are in here, to type in the chat. Um, okay, nobody's chatting, so we'll see you guys later.